hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and on Street Talk, we talk about things happening here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. We do political, social, and economics. Now, today, I've got one of our friends who've been with me, and I've been with him since the 90s on Street Talk. And today we've got a lot to cover.
All right.
Mr. Paget Maynard.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's great for us to be here.
Hey.
Been
It's it's been roughly 20 years and
yeah,
20 plus years.
Yo, it's been 20-some years.
And I enjoy it all along.
I have too. I have too.
You know, we, from time to time we cover things that sometimes to some controversial.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's just what's going on at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Current stuff. We got to get there.
Yeah.
And we got to see.
Mm-hmm.
And the sooner that our people can latch on to the idea of the history, the things that their people went through to make things as good as they are for us today.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, many people, guess you heard Dick Gregory died.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Dick was back there in the thick of things.
Yeah.
He marched. He had hunger strike. He did all kinds of things.
He did.
Just to help to make things better for his people, our people. What are we doing today that will get us to the point, motivate us enough that we want to do something? Now, don't tell me that marching time is over.
No, no.
Because we saw this last weekend here in Boston, for example. The thousands. I think somebody said it was like 40,000 people marching to say, hey, no, we are a nation, one nation under God. We are not white nation, black nation, African American, blah, blah, blah. We're one nation, America. And we have to espouse that day by day. What could we tell our people to get them to get the vision?
Well, you know, you mentioned it. We've been marching out here. I was reading some a couple of years ago that there was a minister in Nashville, and he had a big march back in 1943 or 44, 45. Anyway, and you know, I was reading about King's marches and all that, but there was a minister back in the 40s in Nashville who had marches. You know, they didn't get didn't get the publicity and everything, but one thing that we as black people have forgotten is that we marched, we sit in, we did all these things to get the few things we have. Because I'm gonna tell you, before 1964, from Indiana all the way to Florida, from Virginia all the way to Florida, Georgia, and all those places, Tennessee, and all those places, Mississippi, and all those places in there in between, we couldn't vote.
Okay.
But we was out there marching and going on, and so it confused me. Is that other people can march and go on for what they want and everything
and get results.
And we as black people, we the one who started that, and now a lot of us saying, oh well, there's time out for that march, and it's really foolishness.
Well, perhaps they didn't realize what the benefits. You just mentioned voting. It took some marching to be able to vote.
Yeah.
It took some stuff to be able to get to certain colleges and universities.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, are we now satisfied with the status quo? Are we happy that, well, some have arrived? We don't want some left behind. We want everybody going forward together. So, what are you going to tell these folks now?
Well, the thing is that where we're at now, and me and you we've talked about that, me, you, and
Dennis, Charles.
And we've talked about that a lot, but I know back when I was, we're talking about the 50s and 60s, it wasn't, some guys playing ball, basketball, football, baseball, that our kids was growing up wanting to be like. Our kids back then was growing up getting education, and if they could play some of those sports and get paid, hey, that was secondary. Whereas now, the athlete, the pro athlete, he's the thing that all our kids are looking up to. It's like, it's really stupid. Yeah, it's really
big money.
Yeah, it's like what has happened?
Now, it comes back to what is important to us.
Yep.
Is the almighty dollar all important? Is that all we care about? You hear, keep things green. And I remember this guy saying to me one day, man, they're messing with my greens, man. I mean, his money.
Yeah.
Messing with my greens.
Yeah.
And is the money the only thing that matters? Whatever happens to, hey guys, we need to get together so that we can figure a way out of our situation.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about being militant. You don't need to be militant. You don't need to fire one shot.
No.
Man, no bullet could have the power of words.
No, not at all.
But our people apparently don't want words. They want bullets. Let's shoot our way out.
And then see, that's the thing that if you remember Dr. King and Malcolm X, and right now, a whole lot of our black people, a million of our black people, and think, well, Malcolm, he was militant, he was blah. Malcolm never shot anybody. No, nobody from his group ever killed anybody. Dr. King had another philosophy. But see, neither one of these people was for one of their people going out killing people.
Right.
That wasn't their thing.
Right.
They was just after some righteousness for us, you know. That's all they was after.
Well, we got to understand, just a quick backup, just for the benefit of others. King X.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm came from a different background.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Malcolm spent his time in the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
He got an education there.
Yep, sure did.
He had the hard knocks.
Mm-hmm.
And he therefore was looking at things through a different prism
That's it, yeah.
than King.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you look at what they were both saying and doing, they were actually merging.
Right, yeah, yeah.
If you had allowed them to continue, you would have seen that they were
Yeah.
on the same path.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and it's really it really kind of bogs me down when I hear people they want to give this one credit, but it will take away from this one. It's like no, you don't. They both are working for the same thing.
Hey, I have brothers. We have the same mother, the same father,
Mm-hmm.
but we have some differences in
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah.
We have some different approaches.
Mhm.
Now, just recently I told you my brother passed.
Yeah.
That brother and I would spend a lot of time talking about different things.
Mhm.
My other brother over there in Boston, he will talk, but he is short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just forget them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
forget
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just tell them no.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
simply. Now, the other brother and I would look around him and talk. And he'll, with the one in Boston, he'll come back. You know, I told you so. Maybe you should tell them so.
Yeah, yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
different approaches.
Yeah.
But we're thinking, arriving at the same
yeah,
goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we just have a different
yeah.
angle.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it actually was great having
Some diversity.
yeah. Because a lot of us, I know for me, you know, I march and all these different things and all that, but it's like, you know, I was like, I listened to Malcolm and I listened to King, you know, and to me back then, and a lot of us who was, you know, doing these things, we you know, we didn't, oh, we got to do this or can't do this. It was kind of like you were saying, a kind of a merging thing, you know. It's like, okay, we got it. Now what we're gonna do, you know.
Okay. So then, folks, we know we have come this far. Unfortunately, people tend to think once they get a certain point, they have arrived.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. There are those who have gone on, passed on. They completed their task. Do we have a task today that we need to continue, especially for the benefit of the younger ones?
Definitely, yeah, and see, there's so many of us. We've gotten here, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna settle back now. Now, the rest of them have to come along and do something, and I just don't see it like that. I see it as that. You know, I go back to Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass said, it was one of the things that I always will remember about Frederick Douglass. He said this in 1886. You know, he lived to 1896, but this is in 1886. He said, from the time we get here to the time we leave, it's a struggle. And I always, for me, that means something. That means that, hey, I can't get over here and say, oh, well, I have to leave it to them now. No.
No, we're still in it together.
Yeah, and you have to be.
You know, a friend of ours told me about two men were talking. And this one was echoing pretty much the same thing what Frederick said. And he said, Wenty boy, all we black people know is trouble and danger. We just wait until God say our time come to die.
Yeah.
I mean, trouble and danger all your life?
Oh, yeah. You know?
Is there any place for us to enjoy a quiet life? Enjoy some of the finer things of life? Do we need that? Should we have it? Or we should just wait until somebody says, okay, now it's time you can try. What do you think? Tell us.
That's interesting. That's interesting because as we've saying, you know, a lot of us. That's one of the reasons we've lost so much ground because a lot of the people who was marching and everything in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we you know, I ain't gonna do it no more, and I got mine, and it's like
you got yours.
Yeah. But if
so this thing is all about me and what I want and what I get?
Right, that's what I'm saying. A lot of us think that way. You know, it's like, no, it's not that way.
What about my kids?
Yeah.
My grandkids?
Yeah.
What happens to them?
Yeah.
After all, when I was a kid growing up, I was a mother and father's child. But every adult in the community had an interest and a hand.
Yeah.
Because you mess up, they straighten you out. You know? So are we saying that we're no longer interested in the family, the community, that it takes the whole village, the whole community to raise the child?
Yep.
Whatever happened to that?
Well, see, about 20, 25 years ago, blacks, you know, and I generalize, blacks did get away. They got away from that, you know. So see, the blacks, what you know, when I come along, that raised me, you know, and a million of others. Whatever you tried to do right. If you did something wrong, they would put a strap on you and then send you home. Oh boy!
You better pray they don't come home and tell your parents.
Yeah. and see, 20, 25 years ago, they got in this thing where blacks, you know, the black mother and the black father, well, you know, you listen to me. It's
don't
like,
touch my child.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, I heard one lady say, she was telling another lady, I was in a store, and they was talking, and she had a little girl, little child with them, and so they were just talking in the store. I told my son, but whatever, if I don't catch him doing it, well, it's okay. It's like, I mean, what you gonna catch him doing?
Wow.
You know, once he get out of your sight, you know, it's so stupid, you know.
Ahmad, I remember the days when I taught school back home. Parents, not only to me, but to other teachers, and even before my time as a teacher, it was teacher such and such and such, calling the child's name.
Yeah.
And they actually giving the teacher authorization to discipline the child.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we generally, because they come to school, there is discipline, it has to be, but the parent will come and ask you some in front of the child.
Yeah, oh yeah.
To discipline the child, spanking included.
Yeah, yes, you know.
And time went on, and what you hear? These younger ones now come up and they tell them, don't you ever knock my child again.
Yeah.
And don't you talk to my child. Hey, and it's a whole barrage.
Yeah. And, you know.
But then what you see happening, and I will give you a little instance. You see results from, now our examination back then used to come from a university in England. And you notice some decline in the results. Because now kids are not concerned about what the teacher says. They come into class when they feel like, and that kind of thing. Now, that couldn't happen in my day. They're wondering now, why is it so many people are failing? You still have those who are doing very well, don't get me wrong. But you have a whole set who are not doing well.
Right.
We had a reputation in my island for a standard of education that was just second to none.
Right.
The results spoke for itself. There was the Leeward Island Scholarship, and we won it some 10 consecutive years. The other islands decide, hey, only St. Kitts getting it. We're not doing any more contributing. But the thing is, parents and other adults in the community took an interest in us as kids growing up.
Yeah.
And it made a world of a difference in that people now respected, we as youngsters respected our elders.
Yeah.
Even to this day. You see, you find I go, some folks who are grown adults now will still meet me and say, Teacher Paget.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or Teacher Mr. Maynard.
Yeah.
Depending on which school they were at.
And you know, the thing is that we've got to a point where we let the kids, you know, not only kids, but we let the young people do our thinking, you know. And see, years ago, the old people did the thinking, and the young kids did the learning, you know. They learned from the older people.
Let me ask you something. Is it that the parents of today don't have the knowledge to pass on? They don't care about passing on what they know? Or the kids got to the point where you can't talk to me?
Wow.
And I got to follow up on that.
Well, I think it's all three. You know, I really think it's
some of each.
Yeah, because some of these kids, man, it's like, you know, you can't, you know, you just they know everything. I mean, and you know, in the few years they've been here, they know everything. You know, how stupid of them to even believe that, but they know everything. And you know, some of the parents, want to be buddy with the kids. You know,
they want them to be their friends.
Yeah, you know, and I've always thought that, hey, the parent is over here and the kid's over here, you know, and the parent speaks to the kid and the kids have to listen, you know. But you know, nowadays a whole bunch of parents are like them and their kids. Oh, they, you know, like buddy, you know. No, you know, no, it wasn't like that.
You know, you still parents and kids, even though we have to know and understand our roles, we still can interact.
Oh yeah.
In social settings.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my father, he loved cricket. He used to play cricket. Actually, where we lived there on the plantation, sugar plantation, he made and prepared the wicket so that we had a good wicket to play on. When he wants to, he says, okay, Sunday, old men against youngsters. He bring all his buddies.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a feast and they're going to play. They were still there with us, but we respected every one of them.
Hey, yeah.
You know, and football, soccer, as you would say here, he never was into it, but every time one of us playing, he's right there in the park watching the game. My son was playing football, American football, in school here. I never played it. I'm not crazy about it. But every time he played, I was right there.
Yeah.
You know, that support, just the fact. Now, my father would come into the park and he watches the game. My headmaster said to him one day, there was an issue, and he went to him, wants to know what's going on. He said, look, I know we're going to win the game, you know. But when Paget is there, I know for sure we win. That's how much he thought of me. He could have shared that with my father. All right? Yeah. The whole thing is teachers. I was in high school then. The high school principal, you could have met him on the street or any place and talked to him. He was accessible.
Yeah.
And a lot of us adults and educators and so on, we are not accessible to the kids.
Well, you know, and see, what really, and some of the things that's happened, you know, in the last 30, 35, 40 years is that if you look at it, every state that I've been in, I've been to 46 of the 50 states, and haven't been to all of the black areas and everything. I hate to say that, black areas, but I understand. Areas where a lot of black people
predominantly live. Black.
Right. Blacks, yeah. And the thing is that soon as this guy graduates, soon as she graduates and all this, as soon as he gets an education, as soon as he gets an education, they get out of that area and it's like
economics.
Right, you know.
That's another fact.
Yeah.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.